this sticky episode of MythBusters.
Relax. This one hurt a bit.
The team tackle a trio of duct tape tall tales.
Fun for the whole family.
First, Adam and Jamie strength test the mythical material in car lift.
Why, you ask? Because secretly you've always wondered, and that's why we're here.
Then they ask, can it keep your boat afloat?
We're going in.
One that's already sinking,
I think we're gonna need some help from the camera crew.
and one made of nothing but the tacky tape.
You can keep your duct tape prom tucks. We got a boat!
Meanwhile, Carrie, Grant, and Tori
Say hello to our little friend!
find out if it can stretch to sticking a cannon together.
Run!
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
Bye-bye.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Joining them, Carrie Byron,
Look, Ma, no hands!
Grant Imahara, and Tori Belleci.
We're popping popcorn with lasers.
They don't just tell the myths,
Here comes chaos.
put them to the test.
What you got there?
This is pretty cool. It is a wallet made entirely out of duct tape. You know, I was thinking we could do an entire segment on duct tape.
A segment, we could do a whole episode. Heck, we could do a whole season on the mythical properties of duct tape.
You know, you're right. Let's do a whole hour on duct tape.
Okay.
Recognize this? A roll of tape, and that's just the beginning.
Duct tape, supple vinyl, adhesive strength, and fabric reinforcement means its versatility knows no bounds,
One short strip secures tons of coiled steel.
which has led to some wild, weird, and wacky mythical claims.
What's the plan?
Well, I'm thinking that the mythical properties of duct tape generally fall into two categories. One is strength, i.e. its tensile strength and its adhesion. And the other is that it's so versatile you can do anything at all with it. I say we start by testing its strength.
You mean like lifting a car with it?
Perfect.
Let's go.
Hold on, before we jump right to that, why don't we do some discrete strength tests just to find out what we're in for.
So before stretching our miracle mythical material to its car-lifting limits,
Let's start up the crane.
the guys are going to start with a smaller force.
Many people say about duct tape that, well, it's like the Force. It's got a light side and a dark side, and it binds the whole universe together.
No, not the universe. They'll begin the strength testing by seeing how much tape it takes to bind Adam.
Relax. This one hurt a bit.
Channeling his dark side, Jamie Dexter Heineman goes to
How about
work
this?
securing his victim. And he's enjoying it a bit too much.
So Adam, this is 20 pieces of tape. You holding up?
I'm doing good. It's actually strangely comforting. Feels like a really nice blankie. Hey, buddy.
What's even weirder is Adam also seems to be enjoying it.
I'm about 30 pieces of tape in, and I'm starting to have flashbacks of the other strange things we've done in this exact location. Like, hey, we got one! Capturing Cletus in a bathtub. Also, both Jamie and I got painted with gold paint in this exact location. I'm gonna add this to the list now. All right, let's do it. This is cool. It's like I am the plywood.
Well, so far you're not going anywhere.
No, I'm not going anywhere, although I tell you, I can feel myself settling in here quite, whoa. Wow, really, I'm almost weightless. Perhaps I should point towards the mat? I'm just suggesting. There we go. Oh, whoa, hey. Oh, 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 that was just the rigging settling, right?
Yeah.
Dude, this is actually quite comfortable. Who rolls the tape equals a whole afternoon of fun.
Fun for the whole family.
Of course, it goes without saying, but we're going to anyway. Please don't try this at home. Adam and Jamie are trained duct tape strength test professionals.
Lest you think that I am foolhardy or reckless for allowing my 180 pounds to be held up by 2 rolls of duct tape, this is actually quite a safe system. I feel quite comfortable. It's a distributed system, which means it has many points of failure, a lot of redundancy built in by all the different pieces of duct tape stuck to the plywood. So I could hang out here all day.
While Adam's hanging around, Carrie, Grant, and Tori are about to go ballistic.
Okay, guys, so what's today's sticky story?
We have a mythical use for duct tape that highlights both its adhesive qualities and its inherent strength.
Okay, hit me. Okay, so what's the myth?
You've heard of a potato cannon, right?
Yeah, you take a bunch of PVC pipe, glued together, seal off one end, add some propellant, add a potato, ignite the propellant, and bang, you're launching potatoes.
Exactly, and as most teenagers and internet anarchists know, you usually use a cement to seal the PVC piping. But there's a just as reliable, much quicker way, using duct tape. Apparently, duct tape is strong enough to withstand the forces of the potato cannon.
All right, sounds easy enough. So we make 2 cannons, one the traditional way and one with duct tape, and see how they compare.
Man, this reminds me of the time I got sent away to boys camp.
If used responsibly, potato cannons are fun for the whole family. And here's how they work. A series of PVC piping is glued together with PVC cement. Potato is squished into the barrel. Propellant is squirted into the combustion chamber. Ignite that propellant with a spark, and just like a real cannon, the projectile is launched. But the team want to know, can you really replace the PVC cement with plain old duct tape?
Now, this may look like a pretty random bunch of materials I have here. I mean, we're talking piping, duct tape, potatoes. But to me, this looks like the glorious beginnings of a good old-fashioned potato cannon. And that's exactly what I'm gonna build. Basically, a potato cannon is like any cannon. You have an explosion happening in the combustion chamber. Okay, that is my combustion chamber held together with duct tape. Gases are expanding and they need to escape, so they look for the path of least resistance. Now, that should be the potato. That's why the potato launches across the field.
Ooh, baked potato.
Now, the big question is, can the duct tape hold up as well as the actual cement that you use to put these pipes together? Now, we know that we can launch a potato with this guy. Can we do it with this guy without it exploding at the bottom instead of just launching a potato?
Grant, we're trying to make science cool.
Once I was the pupil, now I am the master.
All right, go ahead. Never. You're not my father.
So with the cannons complete, the team makes its way to its detonation destination.
So we got us some potato cannons, and we can't fire them in the shop. So we've come to the Alameda runway where we have a big expansive space right here. We can shoot off into the distance and explore whether duct tape is as strong as a traditional glue that holds together a potato cannon.
He's just relaxing on his porch, shooting off his potato gun.
Yeah, you trying to hit San Francisco?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me introduce you to the latest items in the Carrie Byron line of home destruction. This is a spud chucker made entirely out of PVC tubing with actual PVC glue. And this is the duct tape tater tosser, but this has duct tape fastening. This is a setup for a control test. We'll have Buster in the chair.
Load her up.
We've got a scale to tell us how fast the potatoes come out of the barrel, and just for laps, we'll be measuring exactly how far they go. This is gonna be great.
So great, the team feel it needs an audience.
Okay, instead of the peanut gallery this time, we have our potato gallery. We got like little Spud Grant, giant Spud Carrie. For some reason, I picked out a huge potato for myself. And little Spud Tori. You can watch.
We ready?
With a couple of squirts of the classified propellant, the control cannon is good to blow.
All right, light it up.
Okay, we got the Spud Chucker, AKA Spudzuka, in 3, 2, 1. Woohoo!
All right, should we go see how far that potato went?
Absolutely. Where's Splash Zone?
All right, what do we get?
267 feet.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good. Sure, but they want a pretty good data set. And for that, they'll need multiple shots.
Woohoo! $3.97.
and more bad puns.
All right, and the next Spudnik.
Before they get the all-important distance average.
375.
So the potato cannon is working great. We got some good distances.
Yeah, we got an average range of 346 feet and a speed of 179 miles per hour.
So next step, duct tape tater tosser. I think the true test here is, will the duct tape hold up?
This could be explosive.
So, can duct tape contain an explosion capable of sending a spud over 300 feet at a speed of 179 miles an hour?
All right, let's do it.
Surely it's too much to ask of this humble yet highly versatile material.
Duct tape tater tosser in 3, 2, 1.
Oh! It worked! The duct tape held together.
Yeah, it didn't explode.
Not only did it not explode, the first shot from the duct tape tater tosser was right in the slot.
387.
That is right in the range.
That's almost exact. And it didn't blow up.
Which is really what counts. But just to make sure, I think we might have to fire maybe a few more off, right?
Right, because although they know it works,
Whoa!
the question is, does it match the regular cannon's reliability?
Hey, get away from our test! He's eating our sample!
Now to you, it may look like a sea of cones, but to me, it's data. Not only that, it's consistent data. Let me lay it on you. Our spud chucker, held together by PVC cement, had an average range of 346 feet and an average speed of 179 miles per hour. Our duct tape tater tosser, which is a potato cannon held together entirely by duct tape, had an average range of 336 feet and an average speed of 160 miles per hour. That's a difference of 3% on the range and 11% on the speed. Now, given varying winds, differences in the masses of the potatoes, and different amounts of propellant, I'd say that's enough to call their performance identical.
But this is a duct tape special. We can't stop here. This is MythBusters. We gotta ramp it up. We gotta figure out what else we're gonna build with duct tape. I mean, a potato cannon, that's just small potatoes. Get it? Never mind.
If MacGyver had to endorse one product, it would surely be the universal engineering cure-all, duct tape. And to honor its 101 weird and wonderful uses,
Hey, I tell you, I can hang out here all day.
we've devoted a whole hour to it.
Oh, it's for real.
Duct tape was originally invented by the Army. They used it to seal up ammo cases, and they called it duct tape, you know, quack. Quack, damn you. Because it would repel water. Later on, they started to use it for heating and air conditioning vents, things like that, because they would seal it up. But basically, the formulation is the same. It's a plastic coating on the outside to seal things up. It has a fabric structure that gives it its strength, and it has a natural rubber adhesive on the inside, so it sticks to stuff.
And it's that combination of strength and stickiness that has led to the first myth. Can it suspend a car? To find out, Adam and Jamie are weighing in with some strip-by-strip numbers.
We need to find out how much a single length of tape will support in terms of weight, so that we can determine how many we need to lift the car. Now, this is our tape testing rig. We've got one end of the tape goes on a bar on the forklift, the other end of the tape goes on this flat metal surface, and we keep adding barbell weights until the tape breaks.
80 pounds, here we go. Wow, we figured out pretty much the exact weight threshold on the first try.
Yep, I'd say about 70 pounds for a one-time lift.
So all they need now is some wide open space and a car they don't mind dropping. Dead car driving.
Let's get started.
Okay.
It'll be a simple setup. A crane like this one, and a hook, shackle, and single crossbar.
This thing right here is what we're going to attach the tape to. Now, we could run all the tape strips to the crane hook, but we'd end up with a big messy blob. If we're going to get the most out of each strip of tape, we need to be neat and clean with it, and this will allow us to do that.
And hanging from the other end of the myth-inspiring sticky stuff will be the car, which weighs...
The car weighs about 5,000 pounds. Now, each strip of tape will hold about 70 pounds. So that means we'd get away with lifting the car with around 80 strips of tape, I think. We'll call it 100 just to be safe.
Jamie, this is your conscience. It's time to start working.
There are a lot of different things you can do with duct tape. You can bind things together, you can seal things up like ducts and so on, but what we're looking for here is how sticky it is.
I think I've got it down to a reasonable pattern.
If we do our job right, and we actually are able to lift the car off the ground, that cloth in the tape is going to give way before the adhesive does.
It's starting to look like a cathedral of duct tape. That makes sense. I mean, duct tape's almost a religion with some people. Why, you ask? Because secretly, you've always wondered, and that's why we're here. We've used 99 separate strands. All right, here it is, last one. Used up 5.5 rolls of duct tape, and by our measurement, this ought to be just enough to lift this car. I think it's gonna.
It's a thing of beauty, and despite the fact the guys have done the math and know it should work, it somehow seems improbable. Duct tape lifting a car? Well, we're about to find out for real.
Let's get it off the ground.
Let's start up the crane.
The crane winch cranks into action,
This is it.
and millimeter by millimeter, it gently pulls the car skywards.
Okay, I can see it starting to come up.
Come on! It's got a very loose relationship with the ground right now.
Oh, it's almost painful to watch. Ah!
So it looks like duct tape can be used to seal a potato cannon.
Yeah, and that's got me thinking.
Ooh, that's got me worried.
It should, because I'm thinking that you make an entire cannon out of duct tape.
Wait a minute, you're talking about a genuine black powder cannon firing real cannonballs.
Out of nothing but duct tape?
Yes!
Carrie, you should start thinking more often.
I know! But we're MythBusters, we have to ramp it up.
Okay, hang on a second, you guys. Inside of a real cannon, the pressures are significantly higher than inside a potato cannon.
Well, maybe we should find out if duct tape is even strong enough. We'll take a steel pipe, seal off one end with nothing but duct tape, load it like a cannon, fire it, and see if it withstands the forces.
And we'll start with 1 inch thick, then we'll go to 2, 3, 4 inches until we find out the thickness that it needs to be to hold up.
Sounds crazy, but don't you love it?
Yes.
I know!
A cannon, a regular one, works a bit like this. The black powder explodes in the combustion chamber, and the expanding gases throw the cannonball along the barrel. So first up, to find out how much duct tape is required to withstand those pressures, the guys are going to replace the back end of the combustion chamber with inch-thick tiles of tape. However many it takes.
I see injuries in my future. So it's time for me to whip out my cannon. Now let's just say I know a few things about building cannons. However, this time, we're building it out of nothing but duct tape. Now, duct tape is strong, but is it going to be strong enough to withstand the kind of forces that are exerted by exploding black powder? So I need to make a strength gauge. Let's go to work. That way we can put the duct tape under the same conditions that a cannon would be under, so we can test the limits of this duct tape. I mean, black powder and duct tape? That doesn't sound like science. That sounds like a family reunion.
So this is the strength part of our strength gauge. It's a plastic frame I've cut out for layering duct tape. I'm gonna make a 1 inch thick sheet that I'll then cut down into 1 foot by 1 foot square tiles. They're gonna bolt onto the back of what Tori's making, and when we ignite our black powder, we'll find out how much duct tape it doth take. So that is 1 inch thick.
Yay!
All right, let's cut it up into tiles. So we've used 37 rolls of duct tape. At 60 yards a roll, that's 2,220 yards of duct tape.
Hey, dude, you got something on your face.
That's 1 1/4 miles to make all the tiles we need for our strength test.
There's a new fashion statement.
Yeah, it's
This
called
is cool, dude. You can do a whole line of shirts like this.
La Vie de Booger.
So with the duct tape tiles and strength gauge complete, it's off to a familiar and favorite location.
So it's time to find out how strong our duct tape is.
That looks nothing like a cannon.
but it does have similarities to a cannon. I mean, it has exploding black powder and a projectile. So that being said, we can't test it in the shops. Here you go, Carrie, if you want to take a nap. Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play on the bed?
She told me not to play on my bed. I think this will work.
So we've come here to the bomb range, our favorite place to test this safely so that nobody gets hurt. It's a straight gauge. It's not a cannon.
And if you're wondering exactly why it's not a cannon, here's the man with the strength gauge.
First, we're not using a cannonball. We're using a piston. It's the same diameter and weight as a cannonball, but it's not a cannonball. Anybody got any duct tape? Second, we're not using a fuse. We're using an electric remote system to light off the gunpowder. And most importantly, there is no steel back at the end of this steel tube. It's gonna be a duct tape panel. Once we load this up and fire it off, what we're looking for is the piston to fly out of the barrel and have the duct tape intact. If that happens, then we know duct tape is strong enough to build a cannon out of. You know what, after looking at how thick that 1-inch duct tape panel is, I'm thinking one panel is gonna be enough.
Really, just one? I think it's gonna take at least 2. I would bet on 2.
I think it's gonna take at least 3.
All right, put your money where your mouth is.
I got $5.
I got 5.
Okay, so who holds the money?
Cameraman.
All right, we're hooked in.
For this to be a good, successful test, what we're looking for is that the duct tape tiles, whatever thickness we end up with, will be intact while the piston blows out the other end of the strength gauge.
Okay, so this is 1-inch thick slab of duct tape in the strength gauge.
This is your chance at $15.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Oh! Pay up, suckers! Wow!
Wait, let's survey the damage first. I want to make sure it held up.
1.
Incredibly, it seems to have worked first time out. And it's disbelief all round.
There's no way this test worked on the first go. There's no way.
Oh my God! A 1-inch thick slab of duct tape was enough to withstand the kind of force to launch a cannonball.
Wow!
That's perfect,
Wow.
man.
It burned the heck out of it, but didn't blow out.
No, it's beautiful.
It just burnt off the wax paper, too. It didn't even go through the first layer of duct tape.
That's
This
amazing.
stuff is incredible.
We got a great result from the duct tape strength test. It looks like duct tape is going to be strong enough to build a cannon out of it. Now all we need to do is build a cannon. But you know what the best part of this experiment was? I won the bet. Give me my money, punk. Give me that.
Oh, come on, baby.
Adam and Jamie are attempting to lift a car with just 99 strips of duct tape. And they're close. Real close.
He's got one wheel.
It's off! It's off the ground! That's almost like a piece of temporary art right there.
That's kind of nuts. Why you need to do this, I don't know, but it's cool. It's holding.
That is awesome. Nice work, sir.
It's holding. And with a flight time of a minute and counting, the result is clear, leaving just one remaining question.
It's only a matter of time before it comes crashing down. It'll be just like a zipper opening up.
Yeah, as with all flights off the ground. Taking off is optional, landing is mandatory.
Eric, first one went. That's 2 strips of tape that are gone now. Oh, that's 3, 4.
Oh! Nice!
Exactly like a zipper. Plus, just like Jamie suggested, it wasn't the adhesive that gave way, but the tape itself.
Wow. I love how consistently it broke all the way along that sharp point.
Yeah, I don't see a single piece of tape that lost its adhesion. They all ripped right in the middle of the tape.
That's true.
Yet again, tools and materials used in ways for which they were never intended. In the case of duct tape, if you've got enough of it, you could move the world.
Not a bad way to spend the afternoon.
What's next? That was cool.
I totally agree. Hold on a second. I want to picture it again. Okay.
What's next?
This is a good one for you, Captain. Have you ever had to use duct tape to fix a leak in a boat?
My boats don't leak.
Okay, well just imagine that you're out on the open seas, your boat's got a leak in it, and this is the only thing you've got to repair it. Will it do the job?
Waterproofing, adhesion, sounds like a good test.
I thought so.
And so our two Mythbusters, one an optimist
What a gorgeous day for a boat ride.
and one a pessimist,
Or for sinking a boat.
arrive on the shores of Frisco Bay, ready to set this myth adrift.
Well, if we're going to repair a hole in a boat with duct tape, then obviously we're going to need a boat with a hole in it. We've got a boat. It doesn't yet have a hole, but I'm about to remedy that.
It's a sizable hole in the hull, but confidence in the sticky cure is still high and dry.
This is a no-brainer. The tape's going to hold just fine. Under these conditions, this size hole, we could sail all day.
However, Jamie Glass Half Empty Heineman is prepared for the
If
worst.
you're gonna get in a leaky boat, you need to remember a couple of things. The first one is a life preserver,
All right, let's put this puppy on the water.
and the second one is something to bail with, like a bleach bottle or something like that. There we go.
All right, I'll step in.
Okay.
Well, it floats. It successfully supports
Okay, I'm holding
one Mythbuster. Two Mythbuster.
I don't see any water. That's always a good sign.
And the dinghy with its duct tape patch is looking good to row.
Yeah.
Plus, it's also standing the test of time.
Should have brought my fishing pole.
Well, it's been about 25 minutes, and as both Jamie and I predicted, the duct tape repair is holding up beautifully.
Properly applied, the duct tape actually seems to be doing fairly well. I have to say, though, I wouldn't take off across the ocean with that kind of patch. It works, but it scares me a little bit.
And with good reason, because at the 30-minute mark,
Where's that water coming in from?
there's a hint that the duct tape isn't a permanent solution.
Yeah, it's pooling in the bottom there.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bad sign. It clearly works. I mean, we're still afloat, but I'm not too happy with it because we're going to have to start bailing before long.
I would say that it's not waterproof, but it's absolutely water resistant.
I'll buy that.
It's a testament to the tape that after 40 minutes, they're still afloat.
It's just a little wet.
But Adam has a tougher assignment in mind.
So I think our duct tape patch is holding up pretty well, but honestly, when I think boat repair, I don't think of repairing a boat on the dock and then putting in. If you're gonna do it on the dock, you're gonna have all the materials you need. Duct tape means you're in an emergency situation. I would like to create that emergency situation.
You want to get wet, huh?
I do. Rip off the patch. Water's pouring through the hole. Duct tape's the only thing we got. We gotta fix that hole.
The water's cold.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Whoa. That's a bona fide emergency we got going on there.
I'll start making a patch.
You start making a patch.
Like the little boy and the dike, Adam is plugging the hole digitally. While Jamie goes to work with the mythical material.
If you have to apply duct tape underwater, you're going to have a hard time because the water forms a film that inhibits the adhesive from really connecting with the surface you're trying to put it on.
All right, going in. You ready?
Okay. It's really frustrating. It's just like the adhesive is not there.
Unsurprisingly, it's not sticking very well, but it is sticking a little bit. All right, take your foot off. I think we start the clock and see how that repair does. What do you say?
Starts now.
Okay. 1.
Harry, Grant, and Tori have seen that 1-inch thick duct tape can withstand the explosive pressures of a cannon.
But is it going to be strong enough to hold the shape of the cannon once it's completely built? Now let me just show you something. Imagine this duct tape roll is a slice out of the cannon. Now I'm going to cut out the little cardboard insert so that way it's just duct tape. And if you look at it, I put pressure on it and it collapses. If this happens when we fire off our cannon and our cannonball gets stuck inside, the whole cannon could explode.
And the team is going to play it safe by making its duct tape cannon barrel 2 inches thick. And to get the perfect shape, it's going to build it around a removable steel form.
Okay, so here's the plan. We have our internal diameter plug. We're going to grease this up. You know what Jamie would say here.
When in doubt, lube.
We're gonna cover it in wax paper.
All right.
And then we're gonna start a cross-hatching system with all of our duct tape to get to our target thickness so we have the perfect duct tape cannon.
After a few minutes, the guys settle into a routine.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. And on occasion, Carrie settles into her chair.
Whew, I'm working up a sweat over here. I think I need to take a break. Could you get me a drink?
Miss Byron wants a drink!
With almost 20 rolls of tape used and the end in sight,
I think it looks like a giant duct tape zeppelin.
Or a big silver sausage.
Or that.
the team starts thinking through the next stage of the build.
One of our big concerns is that the cannon will simply collapse on itself. So I'm going to make a smaller wooden form that we can use to safely transport this to our testing site. Ta-da! Here it is.
And another problem that we're gonna face is that the cannon itself may just fold. So I gotta come up with some kind of support system that runs the entire length of the barrel that will allow us to attach to our stand.
All right,
Yeah,
2 inches. That's it.
All right, we hit our target point. Now the hard part, getting this off the form.
I don't think it'll be that hard. I think we prepped really well.
Okay.
All right.
Famous last words.
Optimism, guys, optimism.
Exuding the confident glow of the well-prepared, Carrie has no doubts it's going to work.
Yeah.
The boys, not so much.
Yeah, slipping right off.
Easy.
How bad is this gonna suck if we can't get this off the form?
Pretty bad.
Okay, so we got this whole plan, right? We drill a hole, we put air pressure in, and it should just kind of slide right off the form. We drilled the hole, we put the air pressure in, nothing. So we drilled another hole, we put more air pressure in.
That's good. It's moving.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Yep. You got an inch. It's going. It's going.
And it started to move a little bit, but still not really coming off that easily.
There we go. Move it. Move it.
Finally, we wrapped the strap around the cannon, pulled on it with the forklift, and then it popped right off.
Oh, there
Yep,
it goes.
there it goes.
It's coming off. Yeah! Yeah! We got it.
Yes! Say hello to our little friend.
Nice.
Oh, that is a beautiful thing.
The boys had their doubts about us getting the duct tape cannon off of the metal form.
That is sick.
That's a duct tape cannon.
This might actually work.
Nice. That is awesome. I knew it was gonna work.
Now all we need is gunpowder and cannonballs.
Adam and Jamie are kings of the world. But inevitably, just like Kate and Leo, they're going under. Because while testing the myth that duct tape can keep you afloat, their emergency wet repair is leaking. And leaking fast.
I'd say we're at like 6-7 inches. Well, it's not looking so good for duct tape repair of a boat in situ, in damp conditions, as it were. And it doesn't look like our boat is long for the world here, but we're gonna wait it out.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say we're officially sinking because, like, we're sitting in water.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty clear to me that applied dry, duct tape actually implements a not unreasonable boat repair. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Applied wet, not so much. Here. I think we can still get back to shore.
Duct tape for boat repair, well, like a lot of things, the devil's in the details.
Have you ever paddled a sinking boat?
No, that I haven't done. With a dry surface, a super clean one, properly applied, it'll work fairly well for a while. Anything else, forget about it.
Oh, whoa. Okay, I think we're gonna need some help from the camera crew.
So, leaky boat repair, I'm calling it plausible, even if it's not ideal. Hell, out on the open water, I'd rather have this than nothing by a long shot.
I agree. But you know, I was thinking, why mess around with patching boats and such nonsense? Let's up the ante and actually make a boat out of duct tape.
I love it! I knew you'd find the open water inspiring.
Be sure to bring your life vest.
Yep, our salty Sea Dog Heineman and Captain Savage love a nautical engineering challenge. They escaped Alcatraz in a boat made of raincoats. They raised the Titanic with ping pong balls. They've even made a speedboat out of frozen newspapers.
I'm king of the world! Whoa.
And now a boat made out of duct tape? But it won't be just duct tape, surely.
Now, because it'd be a little floppy if it was all duct tape, we're going to use steel wire to make a grid to hang the duct tape on.
Ah, it's pretty.
Next, the mast, which is raised and welded into position.
Ahoy!
Followed by the keel and rudder. Which just leaves the key ingredient.
You may see 100 rolls of duct tape. I see a boat.
Lots and lots of it. But is it enough to float a boat?
If you're going to build a boat out of duct tape, you need to think about the duct tape as cloth or like an animal hide. It's kind of like weaving. And in fact, that's what Native Americans used to do, is build boats out of animal hide, and they would make a lightweight wood structure that they'd stretch it over. We're going to do the same thing, but instead of wood, we're going to use steel because we can work quicker with it. Of course, otherwise, the boat is a pretty normal modern sailboat design.
I gotta say, what's really cool about this, you're gonna watch the whole thing get built in like a minute and a half. It's gonna have taken us 6 hours, and while it may seem tedious, I find it meditative, relaxing, glorious.
With the second layer being applied, the cornerstone of their design should be noted. It'll be sticky side to sticky side.
That's the last one. The hull is done.
The double adhesive layer forming what the guys hope will be a waterproof bond. But Jamie's not quite convinced it's enough.
Well, Adam, we've only got one shot at this. I'm a little concerned. I'm kind of thinking we should put another coat on it.
I think it's ready to go. I'll give you action on this. I'll pay you $100 if this thing fails catastrophically. It's ready to sail.
Only $100? Make it 5.
Okay, $500. Sure.
$500. I can't lose. Let's go sailing.
But they're not quite done yet. They need a sail. And in a classic MythBusters moment, we reduce the next hour of hard work and problem solving to a crisp 10-second montage.
Yeah, baby. You can keep your duct tape prom tucks. We got a boat!
If I was alone on the open sea, the last thing I'd ask for is 23 rolls of duct tape. But apparently, this is enough to make a boat. 690 square feet. If you laid each of these rolls end to end, they would span the Golden Gate Bridge, and soon, we're gonna take them sailing.
All right, let's put this duct tape to the test.
Cary, Grant, and Tori are about to find out if you can make a fully functioning cannon from duct tape.
Look at this arsenal of absurdities.
The test will be a simple performance comparison with a real steel cannon, including muzzle velocity, range, and whether it, catastrophically fails.
Now, you may recognize this cannon from Prison Break when we tried to launch a prisoner over a prison wall. This time, we're going to be using it for a control test before we fire off our duct tape cannon. And we're going to be using the same amount of black powder as we did on our strength gauge.
That's 4 shotgun shells. And we've placed cones at every 50 yards so we can see just how far our cannonballs travel.
All right, that's 500 yards. I don't think the cannonball is going to go much farther than that, do you?
No way. And finally, to check the speed of the cannonballs, we set up this scale. Because remember, for this myth to be confirmed, it should have similar range, similar speed, and most importantly, the duct tape cannon cannot blow up. All right, see you back there.
Okay. Sure leave me with the dangerous job.
With the 4 shotgun shells worth of black powder in the combustion chamber, all that's left to do is light the fuse.
All right, here we go.
Oh, and run.
Run, Forrest, run! Yeah! You guys ready?
I'm ready. Are we lit?
We're lit.
The inexorable, heart-thumping excitement of the lit fuse. Whether it's your first or 100th, there's nothing quite like it.
Great! Right in the cone zone.
Dang.
That's some serious real steel and black powder hardware. It threw the cannonball the full length of the course.
That looks like a divot right there. Like,
Yeah, it totally is. It went over 500 yards.
So I've reviewed the high-speed footage, and Tori's cannon was able to fire an 18.5-pound cannonball at 195 miles per hour in a distance of 500 yards. So that is our goal for the duct tape cannon. But to be honest, I will be very happy if our duct tape creation doesn't explode upon ignition.
Adam and Jamie have set themselves the ultimate duct tape challenge.
Get a boat!
The latest in a distinguished line of nautical adventures.
At this point, we've made a boat out of rubber raincoats. We've made one out of frozen newspapers. Now we've made one out of duct tape.
And in the shadow of the Bay Bridge,
Seated.
the final preparation for Stuck on You's maiden voyage is just about complete.
So close, I can feel it. Unless we need any more stakes than our honor and our ability to build things, I've added 500 simoleons to the mix. Can we see $500 at the bottom of the screen? Great. Now let's get one of those ka-ching sounds. Awesome. These are the stakes. That's the boat. We're about to take it out. It's now or never. Let's get it to the water.
Yep. It's getting close to the moment of truth, and all that's separating us from Davy Jones's locker is a little bit of tape. That's good. I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but if it doesn't, I'm getting wet and cold, and I'm motivated not to do that.
As unlikely as it seems, and surely in a world first, Adam and Jamie are attempting to sail
Let me get out of the way. There we go.
in a boat made out of duct tape. And despite the chaotic start, it appears the boat really does float.
You got the tiller on the rudder?
Yep.
You see any water down there?
Not a drop.
Preliminary report so that it's seaworthy. Permission to climb aboard?
Come on in.
All right, here I go. I'm in. And we're away. Oh, this is a life, eh?
So far.
Understandable skepticism.
We don't have much wind.
But even glass half empty Heinemann
Try not to put your feet through the bottom.
relaxes as they catch a draft and get underway.
This thing's holding water, man. I don't see a drop of water.
Yeehaw! This is actually working. There we go.
Oh, yeah. Hey, give me some skin there.
Ow.
Ow!
It went over 500 yards.
Tori, Grant, and Carrie's real steel cannon can.
Now it's time to see what the duct tape cannon can do.
Now we have a target for our duct tape cannon. Now I'm hoping we get the same sort of distance out of this because this would be a really nice addition to our arsenal.
But the guys are getting ahead of themselves. They seem to have a sticky problem.
One of the pros and the cons of duct tape is the fact that it is so flexible and malleable. So it's great that we can actually make a complex shape like a cannon, but the big question is, can it hold that shape long enough to shoot off one of our cannonballs? Excellent.
In order to fire off this cannon, it is going to be tricky because loading it, we got to move quick. Because as soon as we pull off this plug, the duct tape cannon is going to lose its shape. Ready?
Yep.
I mean, as strong as the duct tape is, it's not rigid.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, that's a tight fit. We might have a bomb here instead of a cannon.
So if it loses its shape, there's a potential that the ball gets stuck inside the barrel.
Oh, this has just gotten a lot scarier.
If that happens, it's going to trap all that pressure from the burning black powder. Instead of getting a cannon firing off, we're going to get a giant explosion. That would be okay with me.
When catastrophic failure equals an explosion,
Lighting it in 3, 2, 1.
it's a win-win as far as Tori's concerned.
Get out of here. This one could be dangerous.
Run! All right, the fuse is lit. It looks good.
So this is it. Can a duct tape cannon withstand and brace the force required to throw an 18.5-pound cannonball 500 yards? Or will the soft and malleable barrel grip the ball and cause it to bomb.
Okay, it's gonna be soon.
It didn't blow up! Yeah! We made a duct tape
I love
cannon
it.
that
I
worked!
love it. Let's shoot another one off.
It worked. And a happier bunch of ballistic Mythbusters you're unlikely to see.
It's gorgeous. Look at that. There's no deformation. Everything is still pretty much intact.
And we launched the ball pretty far.
But exactly how far?
That is cool! It went like 125 yards.
So, according to my calculations, our duct tape cannon fired the cannonball at 136 miles per hour, which is only a 30% reduction over Tori's cannon. Now, it suffered a little bit in the distance, it only went a quarter of the way, but that's still 125 yards. And just bear this in mind, that cannonball is 18.5 pounds, one cannon is made out of solid steel, and the other cannon is made out of cloth-backed, polyethylene-coated, rubberized adhesive tape.
So performance-wise, it didn't quite match up. But there's no doubt it's a fully functioning cannon. And with the fat lady warming her tonsils for the confirmation aria, the guys load up one more time. You know, just to be sure.
I always get really excited when we actually get to confirm a myth, because we always are busting them. Overwhelmingly, we bust myths. This one, duct tape cannon, is actually confirmed. And now we have a duct tape cannon. You know what that looks like to me? Confirmed.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't go as far as the regular cannon, but it did work.
That's right, no explosion, and it went the distance. Confirmed.
Woo!
Now, more duct tape.
Love it.
Duct tape and black powder. Two of my favorite things, and here on MythBusters, we figured out a way to bring them together in the form of a cannon. And a cannon that worked, that didn't explode. We confirmed this. I just can't tell you how happy I am. Good times, everybody. Good times.
You could say Adam and Jamie are enjoying themselves.
Scotty, I need more power.
I'm giving it all we got, Captain, but I just can't push it any further.
They've managed to make a sailing boat out of duct tape.
I gotta say, we knew the duct tape stuck together was reasonably waterproof, but it also has a really nice tensile strength. It's made of just a fabulous skin on this boat.
I think the key to it is making one nice piece of fabric out of the whole skin. Adhesive to adhesive was miles ahead of just putting tape on any which way.
So with a couple of days and a couple of dozen rolls of duct tape, we set ourselves the task of making a viable, seaworthy vessel. And while it's true that failure is always an option, I have to say success is pretty sweet.
And as far as Adam's concerned, it's a financial success as well.
Dude, I think we can stay out here all day. This boat is not going to fail anytime soon. I don't think I have to pay $500.
You're absolutely right.
I love being right.
Well, Adam, you know what they say.
Yeah?
Whatever floats your boat. I somehow didn't think it was going to be duct tape, though.
On this shipwrecked episode of MythBusters,
Jamie and I attempt to survive on a deserted island with nothing but a pallet of duct tape.
that's right, it's duct tape versus wild in the most extraordinary survival challenge in history.
Well, it's been almost a full day without water. It's hard.
As Adam and Jamie take on Mother Nature using nothing but duct tape.
Ow. Back hurts, my stomach growls, and I'm thirsty.
Can they use it to collect water?
Why does everything have to be so difficult?
Can it stop them from starving?
Hey, oh, no! He got away!
And will it be sink or swim in the ultimate great escape?
There we go!
How will this mythical material manage in this mother of all trials by tape?
Can two grown men get by on a deserted island without driving each other crazy?
Who are the MythBusters? Adam Savage
That's disgusting.
and Jamie Heineman.
It's party time.
Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Together with Grant Imahara,
Get away from my car!
Carrie Byron,
You've seen your last martini, 003.
and Tori Belleci. They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test. Pack your shades and sun hat because it's time to get cast as castaways.
What are you so happy about?
I'm happy because I'm excited, and I'm excited because it's finally time for Duct Tape Special number 3.
Well, hasn't let us down before. What do you have in mind?
I'm thinking it's time for us to do something truly spectacular. We've already done some amazing stuff. We sailed a boat on San Francisco Bay made of duct tape.
Yeehaw!
We traversed a 100-foot-long bridge made of duct tape.
I don't mind saying I'm hyperventilating. Ooh, I stuck you to the ceiling. Fun for the whole family.
Exactly. So what are we going to do that's better than that?
Well, let's break it down and make a list of exactly what duct tape is good for.
Okay.
You can fix things, but then you can also build stuff, like you can make rope or sheet goods out of it. In fact, you can use duct tape to rescue just about any situation.
Stop right there. Rescue.
What are you thinking?
Oh, this is so good. What if you were stranded on a deserted island and you could choose only one material to bring with you? What would it be?
Duct tape.
Exactly. So we strand ourselves on a deserted island and all we have to survive is duct tape and duct tape alone.
Well, it certainly would be the ultimate test for duct tape.
Exactly.
As any castaway will tell you, staying alive on a deserted island is no mean feat. But could duct tape be the survival solution? Could this multifaceted mythical material really come to the rescue and save your life?
So what's the plan?
Well, of course, first we'd have to be marooned, stranded. And then we'd have to do all the things that you need to do, like find food, water, shelter to survive using only duct tape. And then I imagine we'd have to get off the island using only duct tape.
Oh, what are we waiting for? Let's get shipwrecked.
Okay.
To survive being marooned in the tropics, there are a series of life and death challenges that the MythBusters, like any castaways, simply have to overcome. The only difference for Adam and Jamie is that they have to overcome them using primarily duct tape. And to get started, there's two things they're going to need. First, a not quite deserted tropical island. And second...
So where's the duct tape come from?
I don't know, maybe it washes up on the beach, like over there.
a conveniently inexhaustible supply of their favorite fabric.
With this much duct tape, we are set.
Yeah, we can build just about anything with this.
Totally.
So we got no food, we got no water, we got no shelter. We do have duct tape. Somehow that's going to help us get all those things.
All right, that is the last 7 rolls. What's the total?
That's about 225 rolls.
Wow.
I figure that's about 8 miles of duct tape.
Well, that ought to be enough. Where should we begin?
Well, I figure the first thing we ought to do is signal for help.
Fair enough. The fact is, if you do find yourself lost in the woods or on a deserted island, your odds of being found diminish the longer that you are gone. Therefore, one of your first and most primary tasks is to increase your ability to be detected by a search party.
Our plan is to use all this duct tape we've got to make a giant SOS signal. Hopefully somebody will see it if they're flying overhead and come rescue us.
Signaling for help is certainly an urgent challenge for any strandee.
Oh, the duct tape's acting like a sail.
But in the tropical heat, it's also a dangerous one.
It's hot, and if it's windy, and if you're moving around a lot trying to do stuff with no water, it gets pretty uncomfortable pretty quickly.
And pretty soon, it's already too uncomfortable for Adam to continue.
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah?
The sun is killing me. I'm gonna have to stop because otherwise I'm just gonna fry.
Okay.
Now, the sun and I, we have always had an agreement to disagree. I don't like him, and he doesn't like me. So if I'm gonna get any substantive work done, I'm gonna have to protect my head so that I can see and not get super sunburned. This wind is brutal.
So while Jamie struggles on with the SOS,
unless you want sandpaper, duct tape and sand aren't really an ideal mix.
Adam turns MythBusters milliner.
Normally I don't go anywhere without my hat, but not surprisingly I don't have it today, so a duct tape hat it is.
It's a crucial change of course, since sunstroke could seriously hinder Adam's health.
That's the first part.
Sun exposure is actually something to be avoided. Not only can UV rays burn skin, but even mild exposure can cause dizziness, nausea, and fever, all of which could compromise our desert island survival.
Which is why Adam's sticky Stetson
Oh, this is great.
is a tangent worth taking.
All right, let's get back to work. I'm back.
Oh, nice hat.
Thank you.
With a reinvigorated Adam,
Yeah, we're talking.
it's not long before their giant sign looms large. And with other more pressing things on the agenda,
This is thirsty work.
the guys soon decide that their SOS is go, go, go.
Well, our SOS signal is nice and large, and most importantly, it doesn't look like it belongs here. It's unnatural, which is what you want to catch somebody's eye from a plane overhead. The only bad thing about the duct tape is that while it is slightly reflective, it's gray. It's not the most optimal thing to catch somebody's eye, but we're using what we have, so it'll have to do.
Covering 900 square feet and visible from 4 miles up, the giant duct tape SOS is a good start for our canny castaways. But task 2 is something that's much more do or die.
The next thing that is at the very top of our list is water. We need fresh water, and we need it soon. Ow. Fan's hot. That means that we've either got to make it or we got to find it.
Ow.
One way or another, we got to be able to move around well to do that. And that means that we need shoes.
Here's the thing. This ground is really not very friendly. And if I were to puncture my feet, I could get an infection, I could get a parasite that would put me way out of commission and compromise my survival significantly.
Despite being tremendously thirsty, making shoes is another safety-first approach.
This looks like a good spot.
After all, going lame before finding water would be very bad news indeed.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I am making each step up as I go along, hoping that eventually this will be a wearable pair of feet protectors. But quite honestly, I have no idea.
Now, a long time ago, people discovered that leather was a great thing to make shoes out of.
I'm going for a Roman sandal type thing.
Me too.
As it happens, not long ago, in fact, we made a duct tape boat, and we found when we were working with it that it was very, very similar to leather. So that means that duct tape is actually a perfect material to make shoes out of.
I'm getting cautiously optimistic about these.
Because of the tape's leather-like qualities, the sandals take shape fast.
You remember what it used to be like in the summer when you got a new pair of sneakers?
You'd run really fast to the end of the lawn, and you'd run back again, and you'd go, Mom, look how fast these shoes corner.
This isn't going to be like that.
Despite the tremendous tropical heat, the guys cobble their way through rips, twists,
Look at that.
Instant rope.
and turns
Dude, check it out.
Those look great.
until both sets of shoes are all set.
Well, my shoes are completed. They're light, they're comfy. I'm not sure exactly how well they're gonna hold up, but the best part about their being made of duct tape is it doesn't matter. They're infinitely repairable.
Meanwhile, Jimmy Heinemann's no Jimmy Choo, but his shoes are also good enough for this catwalk.
Well, there we go.
Those look great. You know what I am?
What?
I'm freaking thirsty.
Well, let's go get some water.
All right.
With their footwear finished, the guys can finally begin the hunt for some H2O.
Water's essential to life. A person can go for about 3 weeks without food, but they can go only about 3 days without water. Water is our #1 priority. There's got to be water around here somewhere.
I really hope so.
It's been hours since their last drink. And staying positive ain't easy.
Not only am I thirsty, I'm cranky.
But with dusk not far away, Adam at last thinks he's struck gold.
Oh, thank goodness.
Hold on there, cowboy. I wouldn't even touch that.
Why?
This is stagnant water. You'll get sick.
With how thirsty I am, we can't drink any of this?
Nah, we gotta do it right.
Crap.
Look, when it comes to water, there are certain things that you just can't do. You can't drink salt water. You can't drink your own urine. You can't drink murky, still, stagnant water. If you do any of those things, you'll end up losing more water than you'll gain. That's all there is to it.
Jamie's right. The smell alone says that this water is not for drinking. And that's not the only bad news.
Dude, it's getting dark.
Yeah, I think we need to stop trying to find water and find a place to sleep instead.
Okay.
It's the survivors' worst-case scenario. With the daylight fading, the guys have to abandon their search for water and instead make an emergency camp.
Let's just make some mats so we don't have to lay on the bare ground.
With no time to waste, their only option is to literally tape a duct tape sheet straight to the ground.
Well, with any luck, the bugs will get stuck on the adhesive instead of crawling on you.
It's not a good wrap to a not very good day.
There are days when I've been proud of the work that we've done on this show. Escaping from an underwater car. I survived! Firing the world's first hail rocket. Done, brother. Is not one of those days. We built some stuff, but we did not succeed at getting food. We definitely did not succeed at getting water, and consequently, I am both thirsty, famished, uncomfortable, and really tired. Honestly, I'm a little daunted about what tomorrow holds.
You know, there's an awful lot of footprints on this beach for it being a deserted island and all.
Best not to think about that. You could drive yourself crazy.
The MythBusters started their duct tape survival special with high hopes.
We're stranded on a deserted island with nothing but several miles of duct tape. I'm feeling pretty optimistic about our chances for survival.
And although day one didn't go according to plan,
I can't drink any of this? Crap.
they're beginning day two by trying to stay upbeat.
We might as well take this with us. Ah, that's nasty. Well, I suppose we could take the two of these we made and put them together and we'd have a nice mattress.
There's no doubt that they are in a sticky situation, but with shoes refitted,
not pretty, but they get the job done.
Adam grabs some duct tape and sets off to try to find drinkable water.
Good walking stick.
This time he's heading in the opposite direction to yesterday's route.
Clearly these plants are all getting their water from somewhere. I just need to find it.
By following the lusher vegetation, he hopes to increase his chances of finding a water source. But it's still no walk in the park.
I've been walking around for a while, and I still haven't found any water. And what we have here is a classic catch-22. I need water, and I'm burning through a lot of it just to try and find water. If I don't find it soon, it's gonna be bad.
So let's hope Jamie can do better.
It's hot out here and I'm thirsty. I got water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. Except I can make fresh water out of this salt water with the sun's help and some duct tape.
It may sound as though Jamie's been in the sun too long.
It's already getting moist.
But his freshwater from saltwater idea is rooted in reality.
I found water.
He's going to build a device called a solar still, which is considerably more complicated than finding salty water in a sandy hole.
A solar still uses the sun's rays and condensation to collect water.
And here's how. The hole I've dug is deep enough that it's wet with salt water. Now at the bottom I'll place a collection cup that I've made from duct tape. Then above the hole I'm going to put some clear plastic sheeting. The hot sun shines through that and evaporates the water from the sand, leaving the salt behind. The water vapor then condenses on the cool inside of the plastic surface and drips down into the cup as pure drinkable water.
That's the theory, at least. Let's see how well it works.
Well, having made his well,
that's a big wet hole,
and taped up a collection cup,
well, there it is. Guarantee it's waterproof.
All that's missing is the clear plastic overshoot. And for that, Jamie is bending the duct tape rules.
I'm making a duct tape spider web as a framework with which to hold together this stuff, shrink wrap. Now, I know what you're saying, it's not duct tape, so why are we using it? Well, it did come on the duct tape pallet. I don't know what I'm gonna use this stuff for, but I bet you it's gonna come in real handy. And, you know, it's survival. We've got to use everything at our disposal. The thing is that all these little pieces don't really help us so much, but once they're held together into a one big sheet, we're golden.
There we go. Hopefully I didn't use more water making it than it'll make for me.
The last step is to carefully position the sheet over the hole.
There we go, that's the ticket.
And almost immediately, there are encouraging signs.
All that fog that you can already see forming on the underside of the plastic is what this is all about. It's picking up the moisture from the damp sand, which is evaporating, collecting on the plastic, and eventually those will form larger and larger droplets, which will run downhill into my collection container. Now we just have to wait.
And while we're waiting, it's back to our resident island savage.
I've got good news and bad news. The good news is my shoes are holding up well and they're actually getting more comfortable the more I walk. The bad news is the water's a little harder to find than I thought it would be.
And worryingly for everyone, an hour later, and there's still no sign of a stream.
How much water do I need to find? A fair bit, actually. Jamie and I are going to need 2 to 3 liters of water each per day in order to survive.
And that's an amount that may also be beyond Jamie's solar still.
There's a lot of moisture collected on the surface of this thing. Let's see if any of it made it down into the receptacle.
It's the moment of truth. 2 hours cooking in the midday sun. What's the verdict?
Well, there it is. That's pure water, but that's like a quarter of a cup.
With less than 5% of their daily watery needs, it's a disappointing result.
Why does everything have to be so difficult?
But back at the rumble in the jungle, Adam's welling up with excitement.
It's fresh! All right, water bottles. Half my task is done. I have found fresh water, no small feat, and that's really important for our survival. Now, I simply have to get it back. So I'm gonna build something to carry the water.
But in the middle of the bush,
beeping mosquitoes.
That's something that's not as easy as it sounds.
I would kill for a workbench right about now.
Adam's making a kind of tubular bottle that should hold about 10 pints of water, provided, of course, that it doesn't leak.
If I get a single wrinkle in this seam, it's a place where water can get out. Can't have that. Water's got to go from the pond into here, into here.
It's a painstaking operation, but eventually there's only one thing left to do.
Oh, 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 it's cold.
Fill it up.
Fill up, baby, come on. Please hold up.
First impressions are good.
It's working.
And second impressions are even better.
It seems to be holding. Awesome. I better get back to Jamie. I'll bet he's thirsty.
It's the most crucial survival challenge overcome. Thanks incredibly to duct tape shoes and a duct tape water vessel, Adam sourced a never-ending water supply. And that means things are finally looking up. Because for the time being at least, the MythBusters are not going to drop dead.
How did the solar still work?
Well, it worked, but I only got about a half a cup.
Well, I have some good news. How about 6 liters worth?
That's fantastic.
The hunt was worth it.
Oh, look at that.
Cheers! Oh, that's good.
You know what I'm ready for now?
What?
A nice, fat, juicy steak.
Time for food?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Without doubt, tropical islands can be the very epitome of paradise on Earth. Yet for the MythBusters, it's been more a case of paradise lost.
Save us.
But having finally quenched their thirst,
cheers!
their duct tape survival is improving.
Well, now that we've got fresh water, it's time to figure out how to get food. Adam's going to tackle the land, and I'm going to tackle the sea.
In other words, it's time to stop starving. But Jamie's first sea scheme to build a duct tape fishing net
is not bad.
Ends with him literally tied up in knots.
I swear this is going to be doing permanent psychological damage to me.
With the hunger clock ticking, Jamie decides there's only one solution: spear fishing.
There we go.
And while Mother Nature does provide the main component,
give it up, tree. You're gonna lose.
Duct tape is an integral part.
You might be able to do something with that.
There are 3 things that I can do with the duct tape to help make a spear. First, it'll allow me to attach and easily replace multiple points on the tip. Perfect. I dare say any little fish or critter wouldn't really want to get stuck by that. Then I can also use it to mark the balance point of the shaft, which will help with accuracy.
There we go.
And finally, the line on the end will help me retrieve it once I've thrown it.
I'm gonna go catch me some fish.
Meanwhile, in the forest, Adam's on a wild chicken run. Literally.
I'm really hungry, and I saw some chickens out here. Wild chickens are good eating.
Perhaps overcome with hunger,
I think I see one right over there.
Adam first tries to catch one by simply chasing it.
Oh! Flies? Nobody told me chickens could fly. Clearly, chasing them is a low percentage game. I'm gonna need to outsmart them and make some kind of trap. I'm thinking a snare.
Usually consisting of an anchored wire noose, snare traps are one of the simplest of all hunting tools. But can one made of woven duct tape really work?
Thank God I studied all that baton twirl. Now the whole idea of the snare is that this loop sits unassumingly on the ground until a chicken walks by it, and then I yank it, and hopefully I catch a chicken by the leg. Now it's a waiting game.
And while Adam waits, let's cut to the chase with Jamie.
Well, what I've got to do is pretty straightforward. Spot a fish and spear it.
Like snaring a chicken, it sounds easy in theory.
Okay, fish. Hold still. Oh.
But in practice,
yeah,
it's a beach.
Oh. I'm not leaving here without dinner.
On the plus side, though, the duct tape spear's holding up well.
I like my little string. Worked like a treat. Now if I can just get the fish to hold still. Just like fishing with a rod and reel, spear fishing is all about patience. It's not like they're gonna sit there like ducks and wait for you to spear them. You've gotta just hang out, wait for the right time, and then throw.
And there's no time like the present.
Ah! Yeah! It's about time.
At last, he's nailed it.
Oh, yeah, baby. Sushi for dinner.
It's a great result.
Sorry, little buddy, it's for a good cause. Yeah, I know.
Especially because in the jungle, Adam's snare affair is a dud.
Damn it!
Consequently, he's been busy taping up Plan C.
Having been unable to coax a bird into my snare, I've changed direction, and I'm not actually building a duct tape spiderweb here. I'm building a net that'll lay across the forest floor, and when a chicken walks across it, I'll snatch him up, kind of like the Ewoks from Star Wars.
Aye, because if anyone knows about hunting in forests, it's the Ewoks.
Getting close. Now it's time to conceal it.
So surely this is a home run.
The net is concealed on the forest floor here. I'm hoping to chase a chicken through from this direction. And I can be as far back as 15 feet behind him. And I gotta just lean on this line, and all of these sidelines go up, along with the net, along with the chicken. And that's dinner.
Moments later, Adam carefully corrals some passing poultry into the danger zone. Until...
Hey! Oh, no! He got away! Hey! Squirted right out the side.
The force is strong with this one.
There he is, taunting me. Taunting me. He's like, in your face, Mythbuster!
But a quick reset later, and Adam's soon on the prowl once more.
Oh! I got it! I got the chicken! Look! 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 My net! My net caught the chicken! How you doing there, buddy? We're gonna eat good tonight.
Ain't that the truth? With 2 food groups captured in one day, it's another tick for the talented Tape. But before moving on to the next survival challenge, here's a quick word from our sponsor.
For those of you playing at home, I just want to be clear that this is in fact a wild chicken of Hawaii, and we did chase it, and we did catch it in my net. We are not, however, going to kill it, cook it, and eat it. The chicken you see us eating later in the episode, it was store-bought.
Food has featured in many an episode of MythBusters.
That is so wrong.
But rarely is it ever actually eaten.
Tenderizing steak with explosives.
But on day 3 of this duct tape survival special,
I got the chicken!
food is finally on the menu.
Yeah! Sushi for dinner.
Provided, of course, that the Mythbusters can cook up.
It's time to do the most primordial of human inventions. It's time to build a fire. How is this gonna work? Jeez, I'm crow. Come on. It's gonna work by friction, specifically the friction between this piece of wood and a base piece of wood, created by what's called a friction bow. I have a duct tape string stretched on a piece of bamboo, and I will roll it back and forth, which will cause this stick to spin very rapidly, hopefully creating enough friction to create an ember, which will be the germ of my fire.
The so-called bow drill is one of the most traditional ways to start a flame.
Oh, I don't want to get optimistic yet.
It's also one of the hardest.
Oh, no.
But Adam tries, and tries again, until at last his duct tape bow goes ballistic.
I got it, Jamie! I got it! It took for freaking ever!
And once the fire really takes hold,
Now we're cooking!
it's not long before, dinner is served.
Not bad living here on the deserted island.
Yep. Nothing beats home cooking.
Nope.
With food and fire now sorted, the real life and death hurdles have been cleared comfortably. But there's a lot more to taming an island paradise than that. And next, it's time to better their abode.
Let's just make some mats so we don't have to lay on the bare ground.
Where it's fair to say that there is room for improvement.
Ah, that's nasty.
So as a new day dawns, Adam's searching for some respectable real estate. And, this'll do.
Ah! Look at that! It's beautiful! It's like a cathedral. This is the perfect place for us to set up a more permanent camp. Ah! I love it! One of the reasons this place is perfect is I can string a couple of hammocks. Hammocks are great, not just because they're comfy. Thank you. But in an unfamiliar place, you don't really want to sleep on the ground. You don't want to give yourself such easy access to things like, I don't know, centipedes and scorpions and other things I don't want to think about.
Adam, how come you used up all our good duct tape rope on those hammocks?
Jamie, I'm stranded on a deserted island for weeks. I want to be comfortable when I sleep.
I don't really care how I sleep. I could sleep on a pile of rocks and millipedes, and I wouldn't care.
All right, there goes nothing. Wow, this is seriously comfortable. Like, I'm not even kidding, for television comfortable.
As home renovations go, it's a solid start. But there's much more to this castaway crib than good hang time.
Oh, hello. I'm so glad you've stopped by. Welcome to Banyan Estates. Can I give you the grand tour? This is the master accommodations with the master bed and shelter and rain catcher all in one, with a nice foot mat so one can get in and out of bed without having to wear shoes. The guest accommodations are almost as nice, with the guest rain catcher and roof, along with extra rope for anything that needs rope. It's all the comforts of home on your own deserted island.
And if that weren't enough,
I can't tell you how good it is to sit after all this time.
Adam goes the extra MythBusters mile by building a table and chairs.
Now for the pieces.
And a chess set, which should give their duct tape camp that little bit of luxury.
Hey! Ah!
Meanwhile, Jamie's been taking an experimental tangent.
These waves make me wonder. Maybe I could make a surfboard out of duct tape.
Yep, with hunger and thirst no longer an issue, Jamie's decided to get gnarly.
So why surfing? Well, what's the point in surviving if you can't have any fun?
And fun in this case comes courtesy of some duct tape pontoons.
That's the last one.
Each stuffed with bamboo for support and reeds for buoyancy.
The surfboard came together pretty much the way that I had planned. It's 4 pontoons that are all taped together into one big thing that is the size and shape of a surfboard, more or less, and I imagine it'll work like one. Time to go surfing.
Despite the optimism, there is a major drawback.
Oh, look at that!
Jamie's never surfed in his life. And learning on a slightly leaky duct tape surfboard was never going to be plain sailing.
Hey. Here we go! Well, that was exhausting. But I'm actually kind of happy with it, because I learned that while duct tape is okay at sealing things up, it's not perfect, and eventually stuff can leak. So if you build something that's relying on sealed pontoon, then you're screwed, because you've got no ability to bail it or empty it out in any way, and it's going to sink. So failure as a surfboard, yes, but success as an experiment.
And that's not the only success, because physical exercise, along with mental stimulation,
No, I don't think we've ever actually played a game of chess together before.
are 2 very important goals for any survivalist.
There's a bug on my bishop.
It is actually a proven fact that keeping yourself mentally acute with something like a game of chess makes you better at problem solving. And surviving in a situation like this is all about problem solving. Checkmate.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Which means another key target in the survival challenge has been met. And that leaves only one thing. Luckily, it's not this.
Well, we found water, we found food, we made shelter with duct tape. I'm pretty sure a couple of you are going to email me and ask me, why didn't you try wiping your butts with duct tape? And to that I say, really, give me a break. Give me a big fat freaking break. You want to try this? I certainly don't. Not part of this episode. It's a family show.
Although Adam and Jamie's island survival's not gone quite this well,
This is gonna be a cinch.
it has been a resounding success. Because after 4 days as duct tape castaways, they're physically fresh. Mentally focused.
Oh, quack. I'm in check.
And so well fed, that a nosy chicken is more pet than picnic.
By the way, what's with the chicken?
Oh, well, that's Wilson. He's my new friend.
So with their short-term survival sorted, the MythBusters are dreaming of one final thing: escape.
We've made ourselves a nice little home on this island. Duct tape's provided us everything we need: food, fire, water. We can stay here as long as we like, but rescue's not coming. It's time for us to get ourselves off this island.
In other words, it's time to build a boat. So, cue the banyan tree brainstorm.
So, we gotta make a duct tape boat, and it's gotta be ocean-worthy for probably a significant distance. We're gonna have to have a couple weeks worth of water, a couple weeks worth of food.
Bailers.
Bailers, yeah.
It's going to have to be pretty good size, like 20 feet or so.
What about a canoe design where we paddle it?
Yeah, a canoe design's pretty efficient, but if we do that, we're going to have to make outriggers.
You mean like one of those pontoon things off to the side?
Yeah, for stability.
We'll make it all out of duct tape and bamboo.
It's light and it's strong.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Our boat design is pretty straightforward. It's basically going to be a canoe. It's going to be about 20 feet long. This should be plenty of room for both me and Jamie and all the provisions we're going to need for our ocean journey. The canoe will also have an outrigger for stability. Its frame will be made out of bamboo, and it's going to be skinned in several layers of duct tape.
Said like that, it sounds easy.
Bamboo! We can totally use this.
Yeah.
But this project will put all of their other island innovations firmly in the shade.
We're no strangers to building duct tape boats, but for the first one, we had steel and a welder to make the frame.
Ah, it's pretty.
Out here, all we've got is this stuff and duct tape. And that's a whole different kettle of fish. And so you kind of have to build your own work table, your own jig, because otherwise you end up with this stuff full of dirt and pine needles and everything's all sloppy. We can't have that, especially when we're talking about a waterproof boat.
So having jerry-rigged a jig,
perfect.
Adam and Jamie first focus on the canoe's bamboo mainframe, starting with the sides.
Look at that. That's already feeling like a boat. One in front, one in back, paddling.
Yeah, this is just wide enough to sit inside there.
Next, the guys turn their attention to the hull's base.
That's gonna be awesome.
Then they position a myriad of internal cross struts for maximum strength.
Ta-da!
Everything, of course, bound together with duct tape.
The degree to which the stickiness of duct tape precludes the need for knots is one of my favorite qualities of it.
Except that knots you can untie.
Yes, this is true.
With the rest of the structure time-lapsed into place,
rotate your boat.
The guys add tension to shape the frame, courtesy of a rock and a root.
There we go.
That's awesome.
The boat design we have here is basically a canoe. And that's fine if you're on a lake, but we're not. We're on the ocean, and we need a lot more stability so we don't tip over in the waves. Now, the traditional way of dealing with that is with an outrigger. And so that's what we're going to put on this.
The outrigger is like the canoe's baby brother. It, too, has a bamboo frame.
That ought to work.
And it, too, needs a duct tape skin.
We're going to skin this boat once with the tape facing out. Attention to detail means the boat doesn't leak. Then we're going to skin it again with the tape facing in. My fingers are raw from being stuck to tape repeatedly. Ow! This should give us a really secure, leathery duct tape skin. Hopefully keeps the water out and gets us home.
You know, Adam, I sure hope this works.
You and me both, man.
It's a time-consuming,
getting closer,
and somewhat painful process.
Ow. All this sticky stuff is giving me nightmares.
But after a full 6 hours, their rescue raft is as good as done.
Look at that!
I think this is going to work great.
That is really, really pretty. Well, a couple dozen rolls of duct tape, a couple 100 feet of bamboo, and some ingenuity. I am super pleased with how this boat has turned out. My fingers are raw from tearing so many thousands of pieces of tape, and I think it might just be seaworthy.
Ready to carry it out?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'm pretty happy with our little boat. It's relatively light and strong between the bamboo and the duct tape, and yet this thing's over 20 feet. That's a big boat to be able to pick up.
Spinning.
And I think it's going to hold up fine.
The MythBusters' canoe confidence is high, but with sunset approaching,
That's it. Those are all our provisions.
her maiden voyage will have to wait. The MythBusters' Duct Tape Island adventure has been eventful, to say the least.
Jamie and I, we've had our highs.
Oh, I got the chicken!
We've had our lows.
I'm thirsty, and I actually think I've got ants in my hair.
And now we've determined that it's time to go home. So, we've built ourselves a boat. We have provisioned it for at least a few weeks at sea, and soon we're about to head out into the great blue yonder to try and get ourselves home.
And when Adam says they've provisioned it for a few weeks, he's not exaggerating.
Here's what we're taking on our journey. We got rope, we got fishing line, we got bailers, oars, duct tape, we have tarps, we have water bags, food bags, and a fishing spear. That doesn't help us make it. We weren't meant to.
I think we're ready to put it in, huh?
Let's carry it down.
All right. At this point, we found that duct tape is not a perfect solution for anything. But with some creativity and a pinch, it's an adequate solution for just about everything. Now, whether it'll hold up to a boat that has to get us across the ocean, there's only one way to find out. Okay. And it was the wave.
As the guys clamber in, it's worth highlighting that the one thing they don't have is a map.
It's working.
Oh yeah, baby!
Like real castaways, they're simply going to paddle until they find land or sink.
Pontoon's looking great.
But with the breaking waves approaching, sinking is a very real possibility.
Oh no, here we go. Whoa! Hey, it took it. There's another one coming. It's bigger.
Uh-oh, dude!
There we go.
There's no two ways about it. Those breakers were intense. Remember, we're sitting there in a canoe made of duct tape, paddling towards waves that are like 3 or 4 feet higher than the prow of our boat.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It was absolutely terrifying, but once we made it past, totally knew we had passed one of the worst hurdles we could, and the boat was going to be okay.
Adam's right. Having survived the breakers,
How does she look like she's holding up in the water?
the main question now
Looking great.
is whether the canoe will hold together long enough for them to find civilization.
While duct tape's adhesive qualities are impressive, there's two things that can cause it to become less sticky: water and heat.
Man, it is hot out here.
Given that we're in the ocean and it's about 90 degrees, we've got both in spades, but the only bailing I'm having to do so far, Adam, I've got a little water back here, is because of water that's being splashed into the boat rather than any sort of leak.
Are you saying my oar technique sucks?
2 hours in, and with their island now a distant memory,
I can't see the shore anymore.
We're in open water now.
Adam and Jamie start raiding their provisions. First, water.
You want some?
And then food. 3 hours in, and an impromptu fishing stop
There, right there.
is all that slowed them down.
I think you missed it. The boat is doing beautifully. Honestly, it's exceeding all possible expectations I could have had for its performance. The pontoon is staying afloat, not taking on more water than we can handle. We got enough supplies. All we got now is time.
And although that time is causing some boredom issues,
You know, Jamie, this one time in New York,
You already told me that story.
sorry,
MythBusters' morale is high.
one of my favorite sandwiches is a BLT with avocado and aioli.
For me, I'd say there's nothing like a good old hamburger. A really nice one.
As 3 hours becomes 4,
Dude, I'm gonna take a little break, okay?
and 4 becomes 5.
Let's just hope we're not paddling in circles.
Let's put this maritime masterpiece in context. Adam and Jamie's yesterday's news broke apart in 20 minutes. Their duct tape dinghy was on the water not much longer,
Try not to put your feet through the bottom.
and their Alcatraz escape raft was an accident waiting to happen.
I have no idea where we are.
But their duct tape canoe has now been in the open ocean for over half a day and is still going strong.
You know, dude, this boat, strongest case yet. The duct tape is a frickin' miracle material.
Yeah, there's no underestimating the power of duct tape.
With neither a leak nor a tear, you might say it's been plain sailing. And what's more,
Dude, land!
I see it.
at last, after close to 7 hours at sea, land looms large on the horizon.
Dude, we are saved!
I think so.
And what that means is it's mission accomplished. Because their final challenge, to build a seaworthy boat and escape their myth-worthy deserted island, has, like all their other duct tape demands, been a total triumph.
I can't believe this boat actually held up.
I know!
Our little duct tape boat did great. Held up through the breakers.
There we go.
It held up in the open water, and it held up in the sun.
Yeah!
And it did that despite only weighing about 100 pounds,
Okay, I'm out.
I'm out!
which for a boat that size is incredibly lightweight. I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed with the duct tape right now.
Excellent.
Well, duct tape's the stuff. Not only did it help us survive on the island, it helped us get off the island, and ultimately, it helped us find civilization.
Adam, it's the same island.